Well, I think if we look at the quality of product that we're producing here in the U.S., it's been phenomenal, the increase in quality grade that we've experienced just in the last 3 years. If we look at 2007, 8, 9, and 10 and contrast that to the previous 10-year time period, we've seen a 10% increase in the number of animals that are grading choice and prime. The market works. The consumers have told us they've wanted a higher quality eating experience, not only here domestically, with all the branding that we're seeing domestically, store brands, private brands, the whole 9 yards, and we see the same thing in the international markets. So that's been a great way to differentiate the quality of these animals. As we all know, cattle are not all equal. They're not created equal, and these animals that are creating the higher quality carcasses have been paid very well in our value-based marketing system. We did some analysis here a few years ago that suggested just the average premiums that are generated through these branded beef programs in the U.S., anything that brings above choice, those animals are creating an additional $500 to $700 million of value to producers here in the industry on an annual basis. So the market works if we'll let it work. It's sending a very clear signal. Producers have responded. We have better genetics, we have better nutrition, we have better animal health programs. The bottom line, the consumers in the U.S. and around the globe are benefiting from the tremendous work that producers have done throughout this industry. No doubt about it, the corn situation is one that has changed dramatically since back in May and June. We had a stocks to use ratio on top of 14% as we came into the spring, and everybody could see the size of the crop. It was going to be a good crop in excess of 13 billion bushels, but we need that. With ethanol, with exports, with usage, livestock usage, we need every bit of a 13 billion bushel crop on an ongoing basis, and it won't be long we're going to need a 14 and a 15 billion bushel crop. So that's the part of it. I think from a cost standpoint, we expect that corn prices are going to average about 50 cents a bushel higher here in the next 12 months than they have in the last 12 months. And with these stocks numbers continuing to decline, we could see a lot of volatility in these markets that we haven't experienced here in the last 12 months. Well, I think as we look at the cattle industry here over the next few years, you have to be optimistic. We're in a situation that production numbers have continued to decline. Our per capita supplies will decline again in 2011. We'll be down another pound to pound and a half on per capita supply. We're expecting a further decline in 2012. So as you put all that together, the key piece of it is we know the supply is in check, but what's demand going to do? And demand is up about 5% in 2010 compared to where we were in 2009. Even if we look at demand being basically flat in 2011, our market will average $4 or $5 a hundred higher again in 2011 compared to this last year. For calf and feeder cattle operators, we expect those prices will continue to move higher. Calf prices are averaging more than $10 a hundred higher here in 2010 compared to a year ago. We expect that we'll see calf prices averaging in here close to $1.30 on a 5.5 weight calf by 2011, and we'll continue that uptrend on into 2012 and 2013. I think the things that you get excited about are the potential to see renewed exports, better access in these markets, to further access into Japan. We'd love to see access to the Chinese market. That would be a tremendous opportunity for U.S. beef producers. We think that will happen at some point here during the next year. So I think when you look at all those components together, you've got to be cautiously optimistic. We've been through an awful lot in here in the last few years with the economic collapse that we went through in 2008 and 2009. We've got a good moisture situation across the country. Actually, when we look at our surveys of our customers, over half of them have indicated that they expect to start increasing the size of their cow herds here in 2011. So maybe we'll stop this long-term downtrend in beef cow numbers that we've experienced here in the last few years.
Do you work for your cows, or do your cows work for you? For generations, the Angus cow has helped shoulder the burden for America's farmers and ranchers. She's a labor reducer, proven by time. She's built by decades of performance and productivity and backed by the industry's most comprehensive genetic improvement program. So if you're wanting to share the workload, then look no further than Angus. The Angus cow, working hard since 1883.